Good evening. This is CTV News for Monday, May 16th. I'm Denise Douglas.
And I'm Gina Barty. Thank you for joining us tonight. A man accused of trying to run over two Prince George's police officers with his dump truck pleads guilty to attempted murder charges. Our Byron Scott has the story.
It goes back to January of last year. Two Prince George's police officers were standing outside their vehicles when suddenly, out of nowhere, a dump truck came charging at them. Well, now the driver of that truck has pled guilty to attempted first-degree murder.
One of the biggest things for us, well, two things really. One, he is held accountable for what he did by pleading guilty to these two charges. He is acknowledging that what he did was wrong and there is accountability for it. Secondly, the fact that he's going to the mental health hospital where he's been, and he'll stay there to continue to get the help that he needs.
Gene Brandon Jr. was found not criminally responsible for his actions on January 7th of 2015 and will remain in a mental health facility for treatment.
He stopped in the middle of the road where two police officers were just on a break, and he asked them why they killed his brother. The officers responded to him that they did not kill his brother, and they asked him to move his vehicle. At that point, he said to them that we're going to have a nice day, and he drove through the parking lot and turned around and came back at their vehicles with his dump truck.
The frightening ordeal was captured by surveillance cameras at Woodmore Shopping Center. You can see the two officers running for their lives as the dump truck rammed their cars. This was the aftermath.
Certainly they were not expecting him to do what he did, and as he came barreling back, they did see him and luckily were able to get out of the way.
Officers Jeffrey Bragg and Rodney Lochman were not injured.
They were able to create distance between themselves and Mr. Brandon, and with their weapons drawn, they were able to give verbal commands to get him under control. He complied with everything, and they took him into custody without incident. Again,
Brandon will be committed to a mental health facility. The state's attorney's office says it expects regular updates on his condition every 6 months. But as far as how long he'll be committed, that's up to the state's doctors. At the courthouse, Byron Scott, CTV News.
Thank you, Byron, for that story. A memorial service will be held for a beloved chemistry teacher who was allegedly killed by her estranged husband. Gladys Tordell was gunned down in the parking lot of High Point High School on May 5th. She taught at Parkdale High. CEO of Prince George's County Schools, Dr. Kevin Maxwell, has said she was a favorite educator and challenged students to do well. Students have posted pictures of flowers and a sign dedicated to her on social media. A private memorial service is being held tonight at Parkdale High. Tordell's husband, I should also mention, Eulalio, is accused of going on a shooting spree after allegedly gunning her down. One of the other people that Eulalio Tordell is accused of shooting is Claudina Molina. A public visitation is being held for her tonight from 5 to 7 at Shrine of the St. Jude in Rockville. The funeral will be held tomorrow at 2 p.m. Molina was in the parking lot of the Giant in Aspen Hill when police say Tordell allegedly shot her during an attempted carjacking.
In other news, Baltimore policeman Garrett Miller took the stand today as a prosecution witness in the trial of a fellow officer, Edward Nero. Miller testified that he handcuffed Freddie Gray after a chase and watched as Nero helped load Gray into a van. The testimony is believed to be the first in Maryland in which a criminal defendant has been compelled to testify against a co-defendant. Miller is also facing charges in Gray's arrest. His trial is scheduled for July. He was granted immunity, preventing his statement or anything derived from them from being used at his own trial.
Metro riders can expect some trains to operate at a slower pace. WMATA officials announced today that there will be a speed and acceleration restriction on certain rail lines. Red Line trains traveling between Grosvenor and DuPont Circle will be restricted to 45 miles per hour. The Orange Line between Roslyn and Minnesota Avenue and the Silver and Blue lines between Roslyn and Benning Road will have speed limits as well. Metro hopes the speed reduction will minimize recent electrical problems. You're watching CTV News. I'm Denise Douglas.
And I'm Gina Barty.